In this video, I want to share a confession with you. It's actually something that I've struggled with for the last several years, and I think as a result of watching this video, you'll see how this struggle has sort of percolated itself into the content here on YouTube. And it's a struggle that I have had of balancing the personal brand that is Ryan Daniel Moran and the actual business behind it, which is Capitalism.com. You see, I have a personal brand. Obviously, I'm talking to you like we're just hanging out, having a beer together, but I have a real business that helps entrepreneurs build out the processes that are outlined in my book, that I talk about on my podcast, etc. We help people increase their valuations, get ready for sale, all that stuff. And if we were just hanging out like we're kind of doing right now, I'd confess to you that that feels like a tug of war to me sometimes. I'm the CEO of a business, but a lot of that business is based on my name and my personality, and it has my face plastered all over it. And in 2022, I've made the decision that my primary goal in my career is to build a business, not a person. So in this video, I just want to tell you what this business is going to live to do. And by doing so, by building that business, it actually sets me free to show up and serve in a way that is of greater capacity than I could do before. So I want to give you a sneak peek into what the business looks like in 22 and beyond. One of my team members asked me recently a very pointed question. He said, Ryan, I need you to tell me if we're building a media company and do a bunch of content with your face on it, or if we're building a product business that helps entrepreneurs. And he said, I can help you build either one, but I need you to tell me. And it was the first time that I ever noticed that those were two different things. It was the first time that I ever saw that making a lot of content did not necessarily equal making a lot of sales, or vice versa either. And I said to him, you know, if I could be anything in the world, I would be the starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. But I'm not talented enough to be the starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. The second thing that I'd love to do is I'd love to be basically the kind Ben Shapiro for business. The person who gives his opinions and builds audiences and does great interviews, but kinder than Ben is publicly, and on the topic of business. And I realized that that desire was sort of the tug of war. Are we building a business or are we building my personality? And I realized that we couldn't do both extremely well. So I immediately made the decision that the team needs to be empowered to help the 1%, our mentoring community, be completely focused on one thing, and that's helping entrepreneurs build their $1 million businesses. My book, my podcasts, and most of my content is structured around helping entrepreneurs hit that 7-figure run rate, and our product needs to reflect that. Immediately upon making that decision, the team and I started to rally about all the different ways that we could help entrepreneurs make that happen faster. We started talking about bringing manufacturers into our community, bringing investors into our community, creating sprints and courses and action plans to help entrepreneurs overcome every hurdle that they face along the way. And it was really obvious that the first thing we needed to do was have a challenge to help entrepreneurs who have been on the sidelines get crystal clear on what their 7-figure business needs to be. It's funny how so much of my content, even the first chapter of my book, is about who you serve. It's about not what you sell or even how you help them. It's who you are in business to serve. And when I asked myself the question, am I being clear about that for my brand? The answer was no. And I knew that I needed to make some decisions to help my team feel freed up to be able to build what we all wanted to build as part of our vision as a company. So the 1% moving forward has the goal of creating 1 million millionaires. We've created, as far as I know, 1,000, so we're 1% of the way there. And as part of that destination, We need to document more of our students' successes, share them more publicly, and encourage all of the people who watch my content to reach out and share their stories. Because I know there's a lot of you that I don't meet until you're already having a 7-figure business. There are people who reach out to me only after they have a $2 million business or a $5 million business, and they're like, hey, your content really helped me out. Well, great, but I wanted to hear about you when you were earlier in the process. So we are developing the systems and the structures for the 1% to be exactly where entrepreneurs get clear on their vision, where they launch and they network to build the foundation of a 7-figure business. And now with that clarity, I can boldly say to somebody, if that's your goal, a 7-figure business, you need to be in the 1%. And if you say that you can't afford it, you need to budget for it, and you need to drive for Uber for 5 hours a month so that you can afford it. Because it will be that clear and that helpful for the right entrepreneur to get that direction and that clarity and that momentum that they need, and the relationships and the content and the mentorship and all the things that they're missing right now, and they're staying distracted by all of these different opportunities without that clear path to the 7-figure business. We'll solve that in the 1%. And that will be our mentoring group with that primary goal of 1 million millionaires. That's the focus of that first product center, which is the 1%. The second product center that we have at capitalism.com is called the Capitalism Incubator. And the Capitalism Incubator, until recently, has been attracting people who were looking for clarity and launching their first product. And we've had really great momentum in that group. We've been helping people get clear on their vision, execute the owner's model so that they are in the owner's and visionary seat of their business, and we've had great success in there. But we found that the people who were having the most success already had brands that were taking active sales. So we made the decision to put all of our energy in 2022 and beyond on helping entrepreneurs who are already in motion increase their sales and increase their valuation. And my secret goal is for every entrepreneur who comes in this program to increase the value of their business by at least $1 million within the first 6 months. And when I said that to the team, all of a sudden, all these ideas started coming in of how we could do that. And the ideas are really good. Like, I now have this list of things like, that'll increase their valuation by $1 million, that'll increase their valuation by $1 million. And it's almost becoming a filter for how we decide the content or the relationships that we bring to the table. Does this help the entrepreneur increase their valuation by at least $1 million? So my expectation is that people will join the 1% when they're looking to start a business. And when somebody is already up and in motion, they'll join the incubator to increase the speed of their growth, to execute the owner's model and create partnerships with investors and influencers and advisors, all of which we have in the program waiting to help the entrepreneurs who are coming through and increase their valuation. In fact, we're working on a couple relationships right now of people who buy businesses, and we're gonna have them hopefully in the incubator helping to groom the entrepreneurs who are building so that they have a buyer waiting for them as they grow. And of course, they don't have to sell to that person, but they'll have people ready to bid on their business and give them a big fat check after they execute all of the training inside of the incubator. So in short, in 2022, my hope and my intent is to simplify the business of capitalism.com for those two product centers. And I think for a lot of you who follow my content, you might be saying, this is the first time I've heard Ryan be really clear on what the business is. And I hate that you're right. And as soon as that clarity existed, I felt free to just show up on my personal brand and to serve. Because until then, there was a tug of war of, is it a personal brand? Is it a products business? What is it? And so being able to create that distinction set me free to help all of you who watch more freely, more abundantly, knowing that some of you are gonna join our programs, but I don't have to hard pitch you on any of those. One of the big takeaways from this aha is that everything becomes clear when you know exactly who you serve. I was not being clear about that before. When it's focused on a personality, when a business is focused around a person, then the business can change based on the whims of the person. And that was absolutely happening in my company. And so creating that difference, creating that distinction, allows there to be goals within the business that are independent of my personal brand. And it sets the team free to be able to build that business. And so getting that clarity of how those two things would work together was a really big aha for me in my career. And I'm excited, more excited than I've ever been, to be able to carry out that vision moving into 2022. If you watch this video and you're like, he's talking to me in one of those two programs, awesome. You can find out more about them in the description of this video. I won't hard pitch you on them. You already sat through a description of what the products are. So if you want to discover more, just click one of the links in the description of this video. And coming soon, we're going to be putting together a 4-part video series that introduces people to the $1 Million Formula. We're calling it the Perfect Business Series. And it's gonna be a 4-part video series that will walk people through our methodology so they understand exactly what it looks like to build $1 million business. And then of course, if they want some help with it, they can hop into the 1% and start building out that vision. And our hope is to have a central piece of content that helps so many people that we attract the ideal type of people that we love to work with to help mentor them to their $1 million brand. Thanks for watching this video. Seriously, if you made it to this part in the video, I'd love to say thank you in the comments because you just sat through a video of me talking about the products that I sell. And really, I do a lot of these videos for my own clarity. Like, this is how I process a lot of things sometimes. And so just saying this publicly sort of gives me permission to show up and serve more abundantly, knowing that some of you are gonna join our programs. So if you watched all the way to this, would you let me know in the comments? I'd love to say thank you for sitting through this video, hearing me talk about my goals for our company at capitalism.com. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.